Cause it's 187 on the undercover cop. Yeah, and you don't stop. Yo, hey, so a lot of people would celebrate like, oh, it's the 200th episode, the 500th, the 1 millionth episode, 100,000 subscribers, 10 million subscribers, 1,000, 100 billion, squillion subscriber episodes. Do you know what we celebrate here? We celebrate 187. We don't celebrate. We're not celibate. Not intentionally, anyway. We're unintentionally. We're involuntarily celibate here at the You and Ewan podcast. That's right. We're a big bunch of incels. And we live in cells. Get it? We're incels because we are in cells. Because we're murderers, the lot of us. We don't celebrate 420. We don't celebrate 69. But 69 is funny, though. We'll also celebrate the 80,085th episode. Because that would be the 80,085th episode. Because that would be the boobs episode. The boobs episode. We celebrate the 187th episode because it's the murder episode. 187 on the undercover cop, yeah, and you don't stop because it's 187 on the undercover cop, yeah, and you don't stop because it's 187 on the undercover cop. Obviously, that song's a classic. I've been in quite an MOP mood lately. You know, MOP, anti-up, cold as ice. I used their songs for some reels that I put on Instagram. Because they've got that sort of like harsh, gangster, murderous energy that I like, that I'm trying to roll with into this new year of ours. Well, MOP have a 187 track as well. And it goes a little something like this. Etc. You get it. I see. Okay, so I mean, I guess it's a widely known thing. I know. I do a lot of like, not mansplaining. I don't do mansplaining. I do splaining. Even me writing this out is ewansplaining. Because you get it, don't you? But yeah, I worry I do a lot of that. But fuck your mother. So 187 is because police in certainly in America, I don't know if they do it in a lot of other places, but certainly in America, they have these like 3-digit codes for types of crimes, so they can go over the radio and go, oh, there's a 214 in progress. I don't know what 214 was. That was made up out of my head. I don't know what that would actually be because I don't fucking care because police can suck shit. But it's widely known, widely regarded that 187 is the American police code for a murder, which was popularized by, gangster rappers like Snoop the Dogg Dogg and Dr. the Dre Dre, singing songs like 187 on an undercover cop, saying you should murder undercover cops. Fuck them. They'd murder you given half a chance, so murder them before they get a chance. Chance. Fuck them. Fuck the police. Literally, fuck the police that were... The police were invented as protection for the people in charge. They are not on your side. Don't fucking... Oh, but there are some good ones. Yeah, but they choose to be part of a system that was made to protect the elite. So, fuck them. Fuck every single fucking one of them. Hope they all burn and die. Oh, but then what are you going to do if somebody burgles your house? Oh, I don't know. Call the police and have them come around and go, oh, that's a shame. What are they going to do? Catch the people? No. Anyway, the whole point of this is murder. We like murder because murder's fun. Because if Ewan was a bigger YouTuber, if I had more clout, if I was more popular, if I had more subscribers, so if I had 100,000 million subscribers to celebrate, to do an episode celebrating that number, if I was more popular, I think one of those like Reddit conspiracy theories would be, is Ewan actually a serial killer, but because he makes art about it and he's funny about it, no one takes it seriously? But he is trying to tell everyone that, about all these murders he's doing. But no one gets it because he's just drawing silly little pictures of funny violence against women and, babies being fucking shot in the face. Hey, here's a funny... My post-it notes, here's one of my latest ones, written early in the morning. Babies with tits! That's a funny idea, isn't it? Imagine a baby, but with big fucking tits. Should we draw that? Should we draw a baby with tits? It would look something like this. Oh, silly little baby face. Boo boo baba. A little funny mouth. Silly little ears on its big, stupid, dumb, fat baby head. Looking like it's got a fucking tumour in its brain. Little baby body, nappy, little baby legs. Oh, it's Officer Baby Legs from Rick and Morty. That's funny. Hey, thing about Rick and Morty, Justin Roy. Yeah. So this is a baby, and it's got baby legs and baby hands, stupid little sausage baby fingers, doing whatever baby things babies do. And then it's got big baby tits. That's pretty horrendous, really. Possibly one of the single worst ideas I've ever had in my life. I don't know if it counts as offensive or like verging on child pornography or anything to have a baby with big tits, because it's still a baby, and like a nude baby shown in a non-sexual light isn't like strictly pornographic. But if it's got big fucking gazonkas like that might be one of the worst things I've ever drawn. Let's just so we're clear, it's from a note. I'll say I was paid or dared to draw it. I don't know how I can really I don't know how I can come back from that one. But yeah, I think it would be quite funny, because I've had a few messages be like, because I do my murder drawings, which I should really have. I should have had them prepared to show off, because it's my murder episode. It's the 187th episode, so I should have my murder drawings to show off, to be like, hey, remember the good times we had drawing murders, violence against women and girls being killed. And then I can talk about how I get those comments talking about violence against women and how I'm hypersexualizing these murderous incidents, and how people who suggest that are fucking wrong, because they're absolute idiots who don't know what the meaning of the word hypersexual means. Yeah, and you don't stop, because it's 187 on Undercover Cop. Murder's fun. Murder's good. I like murder. Murder in the hood. Ayy, because I'm a gangster broad. I like riding around with a gangster dog because I'm a gangster. See, I got it the wrong way round. I'm a gangster girl, and I like sucking penises of gangster guys for street clout. And gangster penis. Ooh, that could be a new comic. Let me write a note down of that. So there's one note here that I need that I can't show. But there's gangster penis. That's important. Make sure we note that one down, eh? What's going on? Oh, this guy's just had his fucking throat slit open. He's bleeding all over the place, all over the shop, all around town. Bleeding all over the fuck. And his blood's all spurting out because he's bloody bleeding all over the place because he's had his fucking throat slit open. He's been murdered. He's been 187'd. Is he an undercover cop? I mean, we'll never know now because he's fucking dead. Poor son of a bitch. Probably deserved it. Look, he's got blood in his mouth and his nose. Oh, poor guy. I hope he's okay. He's not okay. He's fucking dead. Murder's great. We love murder. Jeffrey Dahmer, Ted Bundy, the other ones. The Dahmer series, I really enjoyed it. Obviously, because I love murder. But the only thing I dislike about the Dahmer series is that it was all guys dying. I don't like when men die. I prefer it when women die. I like violence against women. I have heard rumours, tales here and there that they plan to make series like that featuring other killers like John Wayne Gacy. I hear there's plans to make a show like Dahmer about John Wayne Gacy, which I think I've said before how, like, because the John Wayne Gacy tapes came out on Netflix, like a bunch of recordings of audio recordings of interviews with John Wayne Gacy that were heard for the first time ever, and it was like whatever, but it really sort of gives you the impression that John Wayne Gacy is just about a fucking prick, just a piece of shit, like no remorse for anything he did. He felt justified in all the murders of the young guys he killed, and he was so adamant that he wasn't gay, even though he was, picking up young guys, having sex with them, and then killing them. But he was like, "No, I'm not gay. It's about control. It's not about sex. It wasn't a gay thing." And it's like, kind of gay. Not that that's a bad thing. It's not a bad thing to be gay. But if you're so adamant about not being gay, that the idea of being gay is so bad to you, then I'm gonna happily say that, nah, you're fucking gay. You big queer. You big queen. You big fruit. You fairy, you pansy, you fucking fat. Well, that one, I've got so many videos planned. I've got a video planned on discussing why I stopped using the word retard, which you may or may not have realised that, I used to throw that word around a lot. I don't say much nowadays, and I have a reason for that, and I want to make a separate video to get into that. And the F slur for the gays falls under sort of the same rules of why I tend not to use that word anymore, which it might not be for the reasons you think it is. I'm not going to go into them too deep right now, but you might surprise you my reasons for not using those sorts of words anymore. It's not about being cancelled or anything. I'm not popular enough to really get cancelled, so I'm not really worried about that. But there's other anyway. I hear they're making shows like that. I'd love to see a show like that with violence against women. No, with about Jack the Ripper. Because I'm fascinated by Jack the Ripper, because he's like the I guess for all intents and purposes, like one of, if not the first, like major serial killer that was like a known thing was Jack the fucking Ripper. And some of the stories, there are stories about him, and some of them are really fucking gruesome and grisly. And there's the comic, the graphic novel, the epic tale graphic novel from hell. That's all sort of, the Alan Moore, and it's all about Jack the Ripper and the whole thing. And there's because I saw it at Cartoonist Kayfabe. I hate to say it, I hate to give them more fucking popularity than they've already got. But I saw them looking at it, and then there's a lot of drawings from that based on like crime scene photographs and stuff. And there's a crime scene photograph of the last, I think one of his last victims, just cut to pieces, and he fucked that girl up. Like, you can barely tell it's human how badly cut up she is. And like after seeing it in the comic, I googled for the photo, Google image searched the photo of that, and yeah, it's available to see, and it's gruesome as fuck. But like a really quality, like high budget, really well made, attention to detail sort of televised series about Jack the Ripper, like a modern day made show about Jack the Ripper, would be really, really cool, I think, because there's so many like goofy old ones being like period dramas about Jack the Ripper and whatever. And if it was, set when it was set in the Victorian times or whatever, but made today, I think that could be so cool. Like the assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford. It's a Western, but it's a really modern Western. It's made these days, 2000 whatever it was made in, but it's set way in the past. But the filmmaking techniques and abilities that people have these days are so much better than like the days of spaghetti westerns and stuff. And obviously the Italian classic spaghetti westerns, certain Clint Eastwood films, the Dollars trilogy, are great. They're classics. A lot of westerns are just fucking shite and garbage. I remember they used to always be on Sunday afternoons. I'd come home from church, and they'd always, like, I'd have my lunch and there'd be a Western on the telly, some kind of Western, and it's always the most boring shit you've ever seen. So it was years and years and years and years and years before I bothered to really pay attention to them. I think it was at university, the people I was living with in my third year, the actual good times had in university. They showed me, one of the housemates was like, let's watch Deadwood, it's really good. And I was like, whatever. And then I watched it and I was enamored with it. I thought it was fantastic. And from then on, I started giving more time and attention to westerns, thinking, do you know what, this whole western thing, there might be something to it. But like anything, if it's done well. And then I played left I keep calling it Left 4 Dead Redemption, and whatever else. And I realised, yes, westerns can be good. They could be fucking shitty shite garbage, but they can also be good if they're done well. It's just a shame they aren't done well often enough. But I feel, a modern day show made in the style of like Dharma would be really, really cool about Jack the Ripper, because like John Wayne Gacy I don't really care about, Ted Bundy I don't really care about too much. There's very few serial killers I give too much of a shit about. And that's another thing I was going to say as well, is how John Wayne Gacy just a piece of shit. I have no sympathy for him. Not that I have sympathy for other killers, but I was going to say, Jeffrey Dahmer, like when he got arrested, he said like, okay, well, it's going to end. That's good. It's a good thing that I'm getting arrested. I should get arrested because I have to stop doing the shit I'm doing. It needs to stop. He actually at least had the awareness to know that, like, he was being a piece of shit and he had to fucking quit it. So I got at least, not necessarily respect for Jeffrey Dahmer, but some kind of appreciation for he was sick in the head and he had this shit going on and he was doing bad things because of it. And when he got arrested and whatever, he was aware of it. He didn't try to like excuse it or play it off as anything. He was just straight up like, yeah, I was doing this and it's bad and now it stops and that's good. So that's something. But yeah, a show like that about Jack the Ripper. Or Ed Gein would be cool. I want to see more about Ed Gein. They even mention Ed Gein in the Dharma series. They have quite a good shot of like a body strung up, having been bled, like cut in half or something. I can't remember exactly. I'll need to watch it again. But it's like, you know, the body, if these are feet, I think it's headless. Tummy button, nipples, no head. Yeah, like a body strung up with like a bucket underneath, like it's been bled or whatever. Because there's someone talking about the similarities between Ed Gein and Jeffrey Dahmer, of which there are a few similarities, I suppose. Hey, look, this guy's having his head blown off with a shotgun. That's funny, isn't it? These pens, pretty good. I've been relying on these for a commission I've just done. Which I guess I can show you, because by the time this goes up, it would have already been on Instagram. But it's the Koopalings. Look, they're in the boat and they're jumping around all over the place. I used this pen for the drawing of that. I was going to use markers. I know I kept sort of saying I bought some markers for a very specific purpose. The purpose was that Koopalings commission. I was going to do it in like grey markers and see how that came out. I tried it didn't really work, so I just went with what I know and outlined them with this, and then fucking I'm a penis. This is Slain, the Horned God by Pat Mills and Simon Bisley. I mean, it's old. I've probably looked through this multiple times, but I've been looking at Slain the past several weeks with a break here and there for ABC Warriors. Been on a Slain / Simon Bisley tip. I don't have anything new currently to look at, so I want to look at Slain the Horned God by Simon Bisley and Pat Mills, art by Simon Bisley. Because, I mean, look how thick that is. I don't know how many pages. Does it have page numbers? No. But that's got to be like 180 to 200 pages. 150 to 180, maybe more than that pages. All like gloriously, gorgeously hand-painted comic. Multimedia in places. Some of it, you know, has more attention paid to it than others. Some of them have more detail, but just fucking hell, man. Like, even just that as an opening page. Like, if it was an opening page and then the rest of it was like black and white and or digitally coloured, then you'd be like, okay, that's cool. Look at that fucking the shadow, but then red in the shadow. That's genius. It's just genius fucking thing to do. But as it is, knowing the whole thing's like that is an introduction to the entire book. I think that's pretty fucking cool. There's Ukko, the narrator. So many different things going on. There's like spray paint and just blobs of paint and detailed drawing bits and like really well rendered parts, and then parts that blend into others, and these like long like large areas of spray paint used, just filling in colour. Little characters painted here and there within those spaces. And it's just going to be me sucking Simon Bisley's cock for, you know, while I look through this. And I guess I don't have time to look through. Well, I do have time. Again, I can make this 4 hours long if I want. I spend a day just looking through this at every page, every panel. I love he does quite a few of these throughout the comic, just like pencil drawings, with a little bit of colour here and there in amongst the thing. Which is, I mean, it's an effective thing to do, like a sepia or a black and white painted panel or a few panels or pages within a full colour story to show like a flashback or whatever. But to have it like pencil drawn just gives that added like faded feeling look to it. So for a flashback or whatever, well, that's pretty good, pretty perfect. Love the silhouette here with like the backlighting. That's really cool. Every like image of Slain looking fucking G is just brilliant. just so strong and imposing, like as a painting and as a character, or as a character and as a painting. This is a cool example of like large areas of like the underpainting that I do, for instance, like the dark red I put in the background. You can see the underpainting showing through so many areas of this. It's in various different shades of like reds and browns, with like minimal paint and pen on top, just to quickly fill in the colours, get the details in. Like her hair is just one layer of pink paint in these thick strands just to show her hair. It's not really like well rendered or anything. It's just sort of almost implied, but very, very effectively, yeah. And then you get, so you, as I've seen and shown before, you get these panels, which obviously, you know, you take time to draw them and make them look as good as they need to look, but you can see, looking through, you know, Bisley's work as a whole in this book, in respect of what it is, that you get pages like this, which are probably painted a lot quicker than certain other pages, which frees you up and gives you more time to paint stuff like this with more more heavily rendered and more heavily realized, more detailed pieces. The armor is ridiculous. It probably didn't take him fucking forever to paint, but certainly a lot longer than like most other pages just to paint the armor. For the amount of layers you'd need to create the different highlights and stuff, and the amount of small intricate brush strokes to get all the detail in the armor, and then, you know, on the fucking, what is that, a moose, a caribou or something, the texture in the fur is, that is so like Frazetta-esque in the different like techniques and textures he's using to create that, like thick really painterly strokes for the fur and stuff on the creature, and then really tight, like neatly rendered, shiny strokes for the armor on whatever that guy is. And then you've got Slain, the musculature, and Simon Bisley certainly around this time effectively was like a bodybuilder. And I don't know if that's just because he wanted to, just for fun, but I know he might have done it in order to give him a better understanding of the human body and musculature. But even if that wasn't his sole purpose, that was certainly a very positive outcome, like a byproduct of bodybuilding and making yourself big and muscular, so you can have a better understanding of bodies and muscles and how they work. Because this is just so well like realized and believable, the muscles here, verging on photographic. Like, I don't know if it was referenced directly from a photo. If it wasn't, I wouldn't be surprised. If it was, I wouldn't be surprised. But on that note, I know, for instance, since growing a beard, I have a much better understanding of beards and how beards work. And so when it comes to drawing beards and mustaches, I have a much deeper understanding of that, which is a very small example of, if you were to become a bodybuilder, you'd have a much better understanding of bodies and muscles and how they work and how to draw them, how to put them across on a fucking page. Yeah. Plenty. I've had one of these in Gun Viking, and it's more in other comics, just pages of people talking. Just draw them, paint them quickly, just get it done. You need a couple of pages of people talking just to get the exposition, get the story across. This was probably a really quick page to paint. I'd say half a day, if that. Like, maybe even several hours just to get this painted. I doubt it took too long at all. Quick pages, pencil drawings with a bit of colour. I imagine maybe the pencil drawing with a wash of colour on top of that, and then added highlights and a few extra shadows on top of that. I imagine that's sort of how that was done. These are cool pages. They're cool paintings where he's going underwater. That's a difficult thing to paint, like to make it look like he's underwater. It's quite difficult. I love the tone change, the grey, yellowy brown up to the blue. The drawings of like the wrecked ship and the skulls and stuff. All these anglerfish creature things with these hands coming out. Really, really well realised. The tone of that is really good. Blue, grey, brown. As opposed to, you know, other pages with bright, brash colours. I haven't read this for the years and years I've had this book. I have not read it once. Then he's in the forest with like nymphs and these weird fucking creatures bouncing around. Really cool, like almost unnecessarily detailed trees and gnarled vines and stuff and roots going every which way. Really cool, like a really cool, well rendered like close up on the face there. Cool, quick page of more talking heads. A really nice, just pencil drawing of Slain. It might even be that he'd planned to paint that, but once he drew it, he was like, nah, do you know what? I'll just fucking leave that because I like it as it is. And why not? Or he might have planned it. He may have planned it. I know if I was doing a page like this, I probably would have planned leave that black and white. I did that a black and white panel in issue 5 of Gun Viking, which I don't think was even that successful as a black and white panel. I think I probably would have been better off painting it, but I didn't. You live and you learn. It's experimentation. It's something. All the animals, watching them have sex or whatever. That's cool. I think I'd pretty much just want to skip through to the cool panels and look at them and go, oh, cool, look at that. I mean, I love stuff like this, just boar heads, just as decoration, whatever. Skulls and chains and shit. Like, why not? Just fill in the space with something. That's a really cool painting of a boar. I love the shape and the weight. Like, it's really, like, front heavy. That's really, really cool. This is more stuff that, like I said in the, looking at, probably in, I think it was in the Patreon exclusive episode, looking at the ABC Warriors, where it feels like it's just a comic made up of, like, panels that are cool and fun to draw. Like, yeah, this will be cool and this will be cool. Throw it into the book, make it work somehow. I feel like this is like, you know, you've got him in the boat in the water, I guess, telling the story, and then you need something to fill in the space. So just cool skulls, helmets, a crow, a cool boar. Why not paint a cool boar? Because it'll be fun. It will look fucking cool. Maybe if I read the book, I'd know it does actually have context and whatever, but I'm not going to do that, so fuck it. That's cool, the Horned God or whatever. The cave paintings look cool and believable, and the Horned God looks fucking badass. I love the texture of the body of this guy. Like, it's kind of withered, but still relatively muscular, and just knobbly and gnarly, and the skin's all like stretched across the body and stuff. That's really, really cool. And these, I don't know how well it shows up on camera, but these are like ink drawings with washes for the colour, with like spray paint in the background. Those look like almost really old school fantasy book illustrations, like those fighting fantasy choose your own adventure books. I looked through the sorcery books. Those would fit in with that. John Blanche, the artist. Like the way they're drawn, the ink lines and stuff used for them. That's really, really cool, which is quite a departure from the painted stuff throughout the book. But yeah, it's a really cool look. I really like it. And it does have like an old fantasy, like dirty, nasty kind of feel to it, which I like and appreciate. And I love this, very like pencil and then paint wash, just quick, but then slightly more rendered teeth and eye, just to really like, and just the little highlight, I spat a little bit, a little highlight on the chin and gums and stuff, just give it just an extra little, like, just pull it out just a little bit. That's really, really effective, really, really good. Similar to this, in amongst everything, like colour washes and blobs of paint and scribbles and sprays and stuff, to have a really nicely rendered just close-up of a skeletal mouth is really, really cool. The texture in like the gums and stuff is really cool. And that's badass. Fucking metal album cover kind of thing. I'm like this far through, not even like a quarter of the way through, maybe about that, but yeah, I could happily look through this panel by panel for days and days. Well, pencil drawings, very cool. talking heads, get them out of the way. Got to get them in the comic, just do it as quick as possible. This, I don't know how on purpose it was, but this panel, the bottom half of the page, but this panel especially is really blurry in terms of its printing. I don't know if that's on purpose or not, but like, it just is what it is. It's not awful. You can still see what's going on. Muscly women, those are really cool to see. That's how like Wonder Woman should look, but they make her really thin and feminine or whatever. Like Gal Gadot, whatever her name is. She's pretty and she plays Wonder Woman and whatever. The Wonder Woman films are bleh. But like Xena, Warrior Princess, she had some bulk to her. She didn't look like a fucking supermodel. She was really, really pretty, very, very attractive, good bone structure, facial structure, and whatever. But Gal Gadot looks like a supermodel. Lucy Lawless, I think, who played the Xena Warrior Princess, she looks like a warrior princess. Someone like her should play Wonder Woman. Someone with a bit more fucking muscle and chunk to her. That's my opinion. I hate pages like this where it's like you've got to paint the outside of a castle with a dragon flying over and the sky and mountains. Like painting a landscape, basically. It's just a pain in the arse. Not because it's difficult necessarily, but it's just not fun. I don't find it fun personally. But it's cool, very effective. It looks like very minimal brush strokes and washes. It looks like, he's taken his time to like make it look like what it looks like, but I don't know what I'm saying. I love the colours in that one. Blue, the orange, red and yellow in that. It's really fucking cool. And the difference in panels again, like really, really heavily painted and then just a little pencil drawing there. It's very cool to see. You wouldn't see that in a modern comic. Digital art, digital colour, boring garbage that they all are. Ooh. I keep knocking the light switch and it keeps going like flickering on and off. Bisley, slain, I mean, it's what you want in it. Dragon spitting fire, the glow on the dragon is really cool. Spitting fire like he's rapping. That's a really cool angle on Slane cutting those people up. Murdering people! That's relevant. Yeah, like at the upwards angle. The musculature expertly painted. And this is really cool because you can see the underpainting, the dark red underpainting, which I stole from, Simon Bisley, Glenn Fabry, those sorts. With the sketch underneath, he's left all of this blank, just didn't paint this. A really, really basic blobby background. Few details in the flesh here and there on Slane and Ukko just to show it's them. But that was like such a quick panel to paint. So he could spend a bit more time rendering the muscles and stuff on this. And the tartan or checkered trousers, whatever. And then the dragons well rendered. Really cool here. This whole panel's really fucking cool. He's flying away on a fucking dragon. And then a dragon fight in the sky. That's no fucking easy thing to paint. I love the boldness of the axe. Just the silhouette of the axe. That's really fucking cool panel. Gnarly, cool, well-painted muscles and everything. With the war paint over them, which is quite a difficult thing to do, like painting tattoos. Like, you can draw and paint an arm and then draw tattoos on it, and it's like whatever. But to really pay attention and paint the tattoo, like, to make it actually look real, takes quite a lot of care and attention to get that right. And war paint is a similar sort of thing to that. Dragons and shit. Cool. Not even halfway. Christ. Cool. Fucking warped out. Is that Selene? It might not be Selene. The Avank. It might not be Selene. It might be just some other monster. Very cool though. Tearing people apart. Just looking badass. Looks like something I'd paint, doesn't it? Almost. A little less goofy than what I'd paint. But admittedly. I like the painting of the chess set. like the little model people and stuff. I like painting things like that, little models of things within a larger context. The glow, the purple glow on the side of him there, that's really cool. I mean, to draw and paint all of that already is just ridiculous, and then to carry on and have this much more of it, it's ridiculous. It's insane. I hope he got paid a lot of money for this, because holy shit, the amount of work. Like, if you could do a page a day, you'd be doing a good thing. I reckon certain instances he probably got a couple of pages done a day. Pages like this look like they were relatively quick. Big panels, big strokes, big areas of colour, a couple of little rendered pieces here and there, but it might be the case that he could do that in half a day and then do another page as well. Or like maybe he works on several pages, like he works on both of these pages maybe at the same time, gets them done within a day or two. I don't know. I'd love to talk to him about it, but yeah, if you could get a page a day, you'd be onto a good thing. I don't know if he does or if he did, but like even if you were doing a page a day, that's so many pages over so many days. It's probably at least most of a year's worth of work, if not close to a year, I'd assume. I don't know, but this looks photo-referenced. It looks like an Arnold Schwarzenegger sort of arm. Maybe it was Bisley's arm. I don't know. But really, really, like the creases and stuff that you just wouldn't really put in if you were painting it out of your head. Or maybe you would if you knew what the fuck you were doing. I say that very sort of like exposing myself. That like I wouldn't paint those creases because I don't fucking know what I'm doing. Just the veins and like the tubes of the arm and everything, the veins going across the shoulder there. It's just so well like thought out. It's really, really fucking good. That's cool. Is that similar to the opening? Yeah, somewhat kind of same sort of dress that he's wearing. That's really cool. Very loose, thin layers of paint for the background. A bit more attention with the rendering on the helmet. Even the fur, like you can see the layers of paint. It's just one layer of paint because it's fairly see-through in parts. Just probably relatively quick strokes, but a lot of them, so it looks like fur. It's effective. It's good. It's a good technique to paint something quickly. Very badass Bisley bad guys. Badass Bisley bad guys. That's a cool spread. I should make like a collection, an image collection of what would be the best pieces to own as originals. And this would certainly be one of them. Because this has got to be like probably the size of my desk. I don't even know how big the original would be, but like for something to hang on your wall, that would be incredible. All the bodies and the armor, swords, badass like skull helmets and stuff. And the red for the blood coming out of him is so like bright. It's so good. I mean, any page from this would be cool to own, but certain pages, obviously, much cooler than others. Love that panel. Not just the texture of like the skin and the way it's painted. Love the like underglow, the like purpley red. Also using different tones in skin, because you're told that in like life drawing classes and stuff to really pay attention to the tones in the skin. Because if you're going to paint skin properly, in skin there is blues, purples, greens. There's all kinds of shit, yellows and browns and stuff within skin if you really pay attention to it. And I know when I paint skin, I use like one skin colour from dark, and then I highlight it, and it's skin color. But really, you should be adding in all these different tones and colors to make it have some kind of realism to it. And I love when it's done like this. This is almost over the top because it's like a creature as opposed to like a human. But the greens and like blues and purples and yellows and stuff that are in there just really, really add to it instead of it just being kind of greenish. Like, that's really, really effective. Love this. That's so fucking cool. That's a Bisley staple. The side on, like the profile, gnarly, somewhat futuristic helmet, skull, monster face. Like, Bisley does a lot of those, and that's a perfect example of that. Again with the colours as well, like yellow, blue, purple, greens and browns, greys and stuff. That's so fucking good. Cool panels here of fights going on, more boar creatures. He's so good at drawing animals as well. I guess I can draw an animal here and there, but like to draw them like that effectively and like that effectively with all the skin and muscles, ribs and muscles, ribs and muscles. That's really fucking good. That's really cool. Any action shot with like Slane looking dope is really cool. Horses. He's good at fucking drawing horses. There's that really good one in the ABC Warrior book. A baboon. Oh, Christ. I looked at the time and it's like 25 minutes already. I think I'd just like... Oh, man. There's just too much. I could happily look through this for hours and hours. Fucking look at that. Look at that. Horse. A fucking horse. Yeah, ultimately, you know, just hand-painted comics are the shit, man. Don't even tell me to look at a comic anymore if it's not hand-painted, because I don't fucking care. Waste my time. Ugh. Yeah, and you don't stop, because it's 187 on Undercover Cop. So Ewan, I hear you not ask. You probably should, you know. I'm here talking. Why aren't you asking me questions, you shits? Why are you so obsessed with murder? Well, I'll tell you why I'm so obsessed with murder. Because it's fucking fun. I like it. I like it when people get dead. Obviously when they deserve it, you know. It's better when like, oh, I love it when bad people get killed. Yeah, sure. I like it when people die. No, I just, you know, it's one of those things. It's just like a... Maybe it's one of those intrusive thought things where it's just in my head. Thoughts of murder and cannibalism. God, I just want to fucking kill and eat people. Why won't you let me kill and eat people? I'm trying to get this done as quick as possible just so I can, like, have it done. I don't have an answer for the question that I wasn't asked. But it's something to think about, isn't it? Like, well, what is it about, like, murder? I mean, that's a question for the ages of, like, because murder documentaries, true crime, that whole thing, it's, like, something people get obsessed with. People do podcasts about it. And it's, like, what is it about it that, like, has people so enamored with it, that makes people so fucking obsessed and into it, and, like, to the point where they obsess over and almost fall in love with serial killers that do this shit. It's like that's some shit that like is probably. I've been drinking a little bit. Don't tell anyone. I think it might be slightly affecting me somewhat. I've also had a lot of caffeine pills, and I think it might be affecting my heart. Hopefully, that'll be what kills me. I've got to die sometime. I'd rather it was sooner than later. This guy's got a sawn-off shotgun and he's shooting this guy's fucking stupid head off. Because it's funny. Murder's fun and funny, and I like how bodies look when they get blown apart. I actually don't. When I was a kid, I absolutely should not have. I say a kid, like probably early to mid 20s, I would, almost look up, like I'd actively search for like murder videos and suicide videos, death videos, those kinds of things. Like a younger Ewan would have loved those ISIS videos that they put out where they were like killing people and showing it really explicitly. But I have, I've changed in a lot of ways as a person since like those young days. And these days I cannot see that stuff. If I see even like a still image of a dead body these days, I'm like, oof, like it gets to be a bit much. Because I've gotten weak in my older years. I've also grown in terms of like empathy and stuff. Which I'm just saying, just so you're aware that like I know murder is not good. Spoil the fucking illusion. But it's like anything. Like, yeah, no, of course, people dying is bad. But people dying, I'm kind of into it. Especially, like I hate guns. I've said again and again. I despise guns for everything they are. I don't think they should exist. They're evil fucking things. However, I will have a character whose entire fucking being is based around guns. He's a Viking with guns. That's the whole thing. Because fucking it's good fodder for art, whatever. Like, I don't need to excuse myself. Fuck you, I'll murder every single fucking one of you. I'll kill all of you and your families. I don't give a shit. Or a fuck. Or a piss. Or a fuck you. I fucking kill all of you. Cunts, lois. Because it's 187 on an undercover cop. Yeah, and you don't stop. Because it's 187 on an undercover cop. I don't want to be like, I'm an alcoholic now. Because I know I've sort of spoken about it briefly here and there. But I've been drinking a little bit more than, I have done in the past. And I think it might be affecting me here and there. Which, that might be a thing now. It might be like, you'll start to notice... You'll start to notice. It might just be that. You might just start to notice. Like, Ewan taking a lot of caffeine is one thing. Like, okay, we get it. He wants to keep his energy up for the podcast and everything. That's reasonable. But it might turn into Ewan is clearly drinking and drinking a lot and often. And maybe it's time to intervene. At least he's not murdering people. Or is he? Thing is, I think obviously I don't know. Anytime anyone says anything like this, it's like, yeah, you can say that with no... You can say it now as a hypothetical, but if the situation actually arises, I'm sure you'd think differently, and that may be the case. But I like to think if, for whatever reason, I had to go to prison, I like to think I'm not prepared, but I'd be ready to accept that. So if I did murder someone, I'd do my best not to go to prison. But, I mean, it might happen, And I like to think I'd sort of accept it and say, like, well, yeah, you caught me. It sucks, but here's what it is. And I'll go to prison and then be a famous artist in prison. Everyone would love me because I'd be drawing everything for people. I'd draw porn for people. I'd draw tattoo designs for people. I'd draw funny pictures of the inmates and be like, look, I drew you. And they'd be like, Ewan's all right. He is. He's a one, he is. Ewan's a one, isn't he? Oh, he draws all these funny pictures. We like him. We like Ewan, yeah. They'd protect me. People would fuck with me and, like, there'd be someone I drew a picture for. And then they'd see someone fucking with me and they'd be like, oi, you fucking leave him alone. He's He's a G. Ewan's a fucking gangster. You see the shit he draws? He drew me a whole entire porn mag, and I jerked off to it again and again and again because he's a fucking. He's a real fucking motherfucker. Is Ewan. So people would like me and protect me in prison because I'm this great artist, and they'd be like, "Oh shit, Ewan, I followed you on Instagram before I got locked away. Oh my god." So I think I'd be all right in prison. I think I'd be just fine. Famous last words and all of that, but at the same time, one of my, I guess what could be seen as a failing is my overblown sense of my own intelligence, which I've sort of spoken about here and there again and again. I feel that I'm a lot cleverer than maybe I actually am, and with that, as I've said before, I think there's been interviews and stuff with police stating very openly that like they only catch dumb criminals. They only catch the bad burglars and murderers and stuff. There are plenty of criminals still out there, still at large, who are like smart enough to not get caught. And they don't get caught because they're smart. They know enough. They figure their shit out and they keep on top of things. And they don't catch those ones. They don't catch the good, smart criminals. They only catch the duff ones. And I like to think, because of my sense of how bloody, hugely, grandiosely intelligent I am, that of course I'd be one of the smart ones. I wouldn't get caught because I know what the fuck I'm doing. Which I say with, no real information, because you don't know until you're in the situation, until you've killed a person and you're in a position where you have to hide a body or dispose of a body in some way, and evade capture. Do your best to hopefully evade capture. You just don't know. You can. It's like trying to learn to swim through reading about learning how to swim. Like, you can learn the theory behind it and how it's supposed to work and go, oh, okay, yeah, I think I've got it. But until you're actually in the water trying, I can't swim, by the way, so it's maybe not the best example to use. But it fits because it's the same sort of thing. Like, until you're actually there in the position trying to do the thing, you just don't know. So I can have all my theories about, like, I'd do this to get rid of bodies and I'd do that to get rid of bodies. And, they might be sort of sensible ideas, but until they're put into practice, you just don't know. You just can't know until they're put into practice. So the only thing to do is to kill a person and try it out. Is to put my theories into practice and see what works, what doesn't. Keep notes and say, well, that didn't work, so next time I'll try this and this. Obviously, you don't keep notes. That's, a very silly thing to do. Like, there was what I saw. This, what I'm about to say, is the extent of the information I've seen about it. Someone killed his wife, and there was a clip of his Google searches post after killing his wife, being read in court. He killed his wife, and while he was in court for having murdered his wife, they read out his Google searches. And his Google searches after killing his wife included how to hide a body, or like the best way to hide a body or something. That's not something I'd do. My Google searches will be bikini, hot bikini, big tits bikini, big boobs bikini, big tits small bikini, red bikini, blue bikini, purple bikini, big tits purple bikini, big tits blue bikini. That would be pretty much the extent of my Google searches. I wouldn't be dumb enough, because you've got to know, especially these days, they go for your phone and your laptop. They take all that shit. If they catch you for anything, they take your phone, your laptop, everything they can. They get warrants to look through it all, because presumably it's password protected, which means they need a warrant to look through it because it's locked effectively. And look through all that shit and see if there's information that will help put you away. So if you've just killed your wife, a thing not to do is fucking Google search, how do I dispose of my wife's body that I've just murdered? Which is, he may as well have done. He didn't, obviously, but he may as well have fucking searched that. For all the good it did him. You've got to have some fucking sense. And I know that's not something I'd do. I'd have it planned. I would. You don't take notes. You don't have a notebook saying, right, what do I need? I need duct tape. You write duct tape. You need heavy duty polythene bags, a saw, rope, fucking, bleach, like heavy duty industrial grade bleach, all this stuff, and you pay for it with a card, so you have a list of charges on your card of everything you happen to need to effectively dispose of. Like, I wouldn't have that. I wouldn't have Google searches. I wouldn't leave notes of lists of things I need to do. I wouldn't pay for stuff with a card and all the rest of it. I'm not going to say now what I would do in those instances, just in case it happens. I don't want to incriminate myself, but there are certain things I wouldn't do, and I think it's fairly safe to say what I wouldn't do rather than, explicitly say what I would do. You just gotta fucking use your bonce, use your fucking head, haven't you? Use your noggin a bit if you're gonna go and do a murder. If you're gonna be a killer, you gotta be a fucking gangster about it, because that's people they're fucking silly. Just fucking silly. And I don't want to be like fucking, is it Dexter? He only kills bad people. Like, fuck that. I'll murder any old cunt. I'll murder who deserves to be murdered. Oh, fuck that. I was gonna do that. That's one list I was gonna provide, is like who would I murder? Maybe I'll get deeper into it next week or something. But I had this whole thing planned to say about how people these days are so fucking spoiled, but like specifically people who like play video games, for instance, are so spoiled with like I was watching a couple of videos of people getting so like incensed, so fucking like righteously angry or unrighteously angry about like drops in frame rates when playing a video game, and bad-mouthing the company that makes these video games, saying, oh, it's not good enough, like how dare they make a game and provide a service where the frame rate drops below 100 frames per second, and this and that. And it's just like fuck you. Like, how much do you think you deserve that drops in frame rates are such an issue to you? Because like I play Fallout 76, and my internet connection here, I pay for like the most bare bones internet connection, because when I moved in here I figured that's all I'm going to need, so I never really cared about it. And even to today, yeah, my network connection sucks, but like I have the internet, so whatever, I don't really care. I don't feel I deserve a fucking higher greater internet connection, and also I probably couldn't pay for it even if I did feel that way. But so I play Fallout 76, which is constantly online. You can't really play it offline. So my connection will go really, really, really low, my internet connection, which still allows you to play the game unless it drops out completely. But it lowers the graphics quality, and like it puts the entire game down to its bare bones, so you can still play it. So sometimes it looks like it's fucking PS1 graphics. Like, it's usually larger areas of like rocks and trees and stuff that just look like, fucking basic polygons of like brown and grey and stuff that you're wandering around shooting and whatever. And I'm okay with that. I can still play the game, and I go, that's a tree, that's rocks, I get it, cool. But then sometimes my internet connection's is just fine, and everything's as high definition as it's supposed to be. Maybe there is a bit of lag, maybe the fucking FPS isn't as high as it should be, but I'm totally cool with it, because as long as I can play the game, it doesn't really bother me. But it's when you get these fucking people that just think that they're entitled to the highest possible frame rates, and like, they've paid thousands of pounds for a computer that can play these games at these impossible frame rates and whatever, and then when something drops when any number of frame rate or whatever drops even a little bit, they get so fucking mad about it and they badmouth the company. And it's like if there's bugs in a game, like people say about Bethesda, like, oh, the one guy I was heard talking recently saying how if any other company released a product that had like the amount of bugs in it that a Bethesda game does, you'd rally against them. You'd say, how can you sell us this product that's so full of bugs and stuff? And it's like, video games are probably really difficult to make perfect. So if it's released with bugs, it's like, yeah, it's not the best thing in the world, but here's a game you can play and enjoy. It's got some bugs, but whatever. Like, people get so I'd murder them. I'd murder all the cunts who fucking whinge and fucking complain about that shit. And it reminds me very strongly of a customer I had in the shoe store I worked in, who he was looking for a specific pair of shoes, and he checked online that they were in stock, and they were when he checked, and he came in like a day or two later and they'd been sold, so the shoes he was looking for was sold out. And he said, oh, I was looking for these shoes, do you have them? And I went in back and I looked, and none in stock on the system, just completely sold out. I said I can order a pair from a different store, but it'll take a few days, blah, 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 blah. His response was, that's not good enough. And like, well, fuck you. Like, just what's not good enough? What do you deserve? Who the fuck are you that you deserve to have a pair of shoes that's not in stock because people fucking bought them already? You cunt, you fucking... So I'd murder him as well. I'd track him down. I'd go back to the shoe store, find sales of that particular pair of... I remember the code in my head. I remember the code, the 10-digit code for the pair of shoes. I'd look up sales of those pairs of shoes from a certain year, and I'd trace, even though I guess he didn't buy a pair, because I'd find him, whatever, fuck it, I'd find him somehow, I'd fucking kill him, and his kids, that he's probably got, his stupid little kids, and his stupid mistreated wife, his wife doesn't get enough attention paid to her, because he's evidently the one that feels he deserves all the attention paid to him. So I'd kill him, and it would be fun. And I'd get away with it too if it weren't for you meddling cocks.